Tom Platts was there to wish the franchise well and check out all of the new free weights, Nautilus, David Line equipment room, aerobics room, and much more. Nice going, Tom. But most of the competitive professionals were competing in Niagara Falls for the annual Professional Invitational, which incorporates both a hotly competitive muscle contest and a relaxing weekend of sightseeing for the bodybuilders' fans. Tim Watson narrates the excitement.
The Niagara Falls Professional Invitational was in one of the world's most beautiful settings, and it had weather to match. Like the amateur division, the pros entered the convention center expecting to compete against some newcomers to the pro circuit, and others making their comeback. Bill Hill was here to make his first impression as a pro on the bodybuilding community. John TERILLI was there too, after hiding from the posing stage for over a year. Even Bob Paris, who was an amateur, was the favorite son of bodybuilding, was in Niagara Falls to wake the audience up with his flawless symmetry and dynamic routine. First out was the largest bodybuilder on stage, Big Dan Smith, who simply puts an audience in awe with his 22-inch arms, 30-inch thighs, and 55-inch chest. Dan is probably one of the so-called nice guys in the sport, family-oriented and soft-spoken. You might remember him from the Pro World in Columbus last March, where he made his professional debut. But standing 6'2" and weighing 260 pounds, Dan came into the Niagara Falls contest a bit more defined without losing any mass or shape. In fact, he actually looked even bigger. Not many people in bodybuilding may know Dan's career background, but at 31 years of age, he is a scholar graduate from Dartmouth with a master's degree in education. He then served 7 years in the Army. He's proof enough that brain and brawn can work very well together.
Well, how the academics influence my bodybuilding is hard to say. I guess it helps me organize my bodybuilding program intellectually. You know, I have the goals, set goals I have to get, and I have a means to the end, and everything, all my thought process is organized. The way I was brought up has a strong influence on my bodybuilding because my father, he was a professional football player, an Olympic weightlifter, and he taught me the basics of weight training. And I was in the Army for 4 years. I was an officer, so I have a very militaristic viewpoint towards bodybuilding, almost Spartan-like, a lot of discipline, and you take a lot of pain in the present so that in the future you can have some pleasure, like maybe getting a good place in a contest and winning some money.
John TERILLI started bodybuilding as a teenager and nearly won everything possible on the Australian competition circuit. Now as a pro, this Mr. Universe winner makes his home in the Bronx, New York, and continues to improve with each competitive outing. Standing 6 foot even and weighing 228 pounds, John is similar to Bob Paris with great symmetry and body balance. And more so than a lot of professional bodybuilders, he is very scientific with his training and dieting methods. Although he was a little smooth and did not place in the top 5, expect John to be back again, and hopefully without another prolonged hibernation.
My last contest, it was 4 weeks ago, it was the couples contest. I did it with Joanne McCarthy, who placed 4th, but before that I haven't competed since the '86 Olympia. Basically because I've never really made that much money from bodybuilding, and I have to make a regular income, okay? I don't get many posing exhibitions, so in order for me to keep on living, I just had to work, and it was very hard to take time off to train for another show.
Shawn Jenkins gained access to the pro circuit by winning the USA Championships. He was a middleweight. On this day, he competed at nearly 200 pounds, a 25-pound increase. He could have been a little more cut, and in order to place higher, he should have been. But like Dan Smith, Shawn has got a tremendous amount of muscle thickness for his 5'5" frame. His potential is as good as the best in the sport today. But it seems that better definition instead of mass is in order now for Shawn.
I've been in and out for quite a while. This year is supposed to be my comeback. I've trained really hard this year. I've added 25 pounds, and as it looks right now for this show, obviously it's not good enough. So I have 2 weeks prior to the Night of the Champions, so between now and the next 2 weeks, you'll see a different Shawn. If it is not good enough next time, I will ask the judges what they want, and whatever they want, I will do. And if it's not good enough, I'll quit.
Someone who's been around bodybuilding for years is San Jose pro Scott Wilson. This guy's got the broadest shoulders for his height in the sport, an overall body mass that fits his frame perfectly. Scott, too, could have been harder for the contest, but when you look at professional bodybuilders all day, it gets to be a relative judgment comparing one body from another. Scott is a former Mr. International title holder and represents the sport well with class and distinction. Just across the Niagara Bridge and up the Ontario Peninsula is home for Canadian Steve BRISBOIS. At 5'4", Steve was the shortest competitor, but maintains great body shape and definition. Being so close to Toronto, Steve brought along his own cheering section, but with the shape he was in, he really didn't need it to get the audience's attention. Steve became a professional after winning the Bantamweight Universe crown, but has since moved up to what would be a middleweight in amateur competition. He's a gym instructor, married, and a father. Coming up next, we'll see the top 5 finishers and the winner of the Niagara Falls Professional Invitational, including Tony Pearson, Michael Ashley, Bob Paris, Phil Hill, and Robbie Robinson.